Computing and Computational Sciences Directorate at Oak Ridge Lab. And I'm probably the token liberal arts graduate here in the audience. I am not the researcher. I am actually on the business development side, and I'm here to talk to you about a program that we created there for researchers and that we started from the ground up with the broader impact in mind. We've launched a new program to provide U.S. companies with access to the 2 high-performance computing centers that are located at Oak Ridge. A lot of people don't know that we have 2. One is funded by DOE and one is in partnership with the University of Tennessee and funded through the National Science Foundation. And the program is in beta mode. And while the bulk of the time on those 2 systems is allocated through NSF and DOE programs that are peer review proposal processes, the laboratory actually has a certain amount of discretionary time that it can allocate, and it made a decision that it wanted to set some of that aside for companies to help them expand in their ability to use leadership computing and to solve very complex problems that they can't solve internally because they don't have the computational capability. And so this program is right now in beta mode. So when we talk about broader impact, what are the areas that we think we're hitting? Well, first off, enhancing infrastructure for research and education. We are always upgrading and enhancing our systems there, and we're expanding who can have access to them. And so when we let corporate, private sector business researchers have access, we're actually strengthening the private sector research capability in this country, and they make a tremendous contribution into research, and of course partner with universities and labs all the time too. And as more companies and the personnel in them gain access to these systems, we're actually broadening the participation in modeling and simulation with leadership computing. There isn't a company in the world that has systems that are as capable as the systems here at the labs and at the NSF supercomputer centers. So when we can give those companies access to these, we give them maybe a 3 to 5 year jump on getting their problems scaled and their software ready, so that when these systems become available at a better price point where a company can afford them, they're ready to jump on and they don't lose any precious time. So we think really that this is a triple win for NSF and for the lab. Obviously for NSF here, we're primarily focusing on manufacturing and engineering companies with problems that are in the sweet spot of the engineering directorate often here at NSF, so it helps the engineering directorate and NSF to see what are the research problems that are important to the country and to link to some of the best researchers in the private sector in these areas. It helps NSF to set its own R&D directions. It's certainly a win for industry because they're getting access to systems and particularly to expertise that is not readily available internally to solve complex and competitively important problems that are strategic for them. And we think it's important for the country because as we do this, we're strengthening the innovation capacity of the country for national economic gain and national security. How do we know it's having a broader impact? Well, one of the criteria is the projects have to be very high risk, high return projects with a strategic impact, and the companies have to explain that on their application. We have regular reporting requirements where they have to tell us what is the science impact and the competitiveness impact that they're achieving. And because the bulk of the projects are non-proprietary, they do publish and make available the science results, and that lifts the knowledge base for the broader community. We think a good activity has measurable results. We require the companies to set the goals in their applications, and then we track those through the reporting. We think that in this program, the activity has to have both science and a business and competitiveness impact. That's why we're making this available to companies. And that it also has to have reach, and because the bulk of the projects are non-proprietary, that means that the science results do go out to the broader science community. How can you join us? Well, this is open to any U.S. firm, and it can be firms that are individually applying or in collaborations, and often in collaborations with universities. So there's often a tremendous opportunity for universities to participate here through their own partnerships with industry. What's my advice? Well, as I was thinking about this, I have advice to researchers in the universities and researchers that you come in contact with at the graduate level and postgraduate level. Companies desperately need researchers who have a computational science foundation. They can't find them, they need them, they want to hire them too. And so for researchers who are out there who have these disciplines, contact companies, and if you don't know how to get in touch with them, contact us and we'll help to link you up.